going to talk about the fish finder rig. It's a rig that has some advantages. It allows you to cover water. It allows roving fish to find your bait or lure pretty easy. I don't like it because it puts 3 knots between you and the fish. So if you're not really proficient at tying your knots, you could be asking for some real problems. When I'm tying rigs by hand, I do prefer soapy water. It helps them cinch down a little better, a little easier. So you attach you're basically making a leader. And there's lots of ways to go about this. I'm sure that you got diehards that use this rig all the time are going to be calling foul. So this is a number 2 circle hook. This is a Paxipa hook. Now I get these hooks from China. We're going to put a link in the description for you if you're interested in these hooks. They're very cheap. They're fairly strong. And for what I do, they work out almost perfect. So we just tie our Palomar knot on here, just like we did before. Feed our line through. Run our loop through like that after our overhand knot. And then we just straighten it out in a little figure 8. Trying not to recut our hand in the process. So you want that knot to look nice and flat like that. And that knot slipped out on us a little bit. It's all straight and clean now, but that knot started to slip a little. Trim your tag. We're going to mount a swivel on the other end. This is the exact same process for a Carolina as it is for your fish finder rig. And again, I'm using a Palomar knot here. There's lots of guys who like just whatever knot you like, unis or whatever. I like the Palomar. I tied the Palomar very well. It's an extremely strong knot. It works well with most monofilament. You might find some line where you gotta use a different knot if you want to use that line. I've heard stories that some of the hybrid lines don't carry the Palomar knot well. We got our overhand, we put our swivel through the loop, tighten it up. There's our little figure 8, just like that. Get a little soapy water on there so it tightens up nice and hard. And tighten her up. Trim our tag in. What's been used for a long time for this rig is the pyramid weight, and it's got some advantages for this rig. We got a pyramid. It doesn't roll around on the bottom very much. And actually, if you pull on it a little bit, I'll kind of show you with this shirt here, it'll dig into the sand or grass or whatever it's laying on. It'll dig into it a little bit. That can be a real advantage at times. This is a 3 ounce. We're going to run our line through here. Now this part, I've seen guys run the pyramid straight to a swivel. I wouldn't recommend it. I'd get yourself some cheap plastic beads at, whatever supply you want. And you put a bead on there to help cushion this as it slides down the line onto your swivel. We're going to make another Palomar knot. And one of the things especially beginning fishermen, they're like, I'm not fishing La Jolla today with you, dude. So we're going to tie another Palomar here. And one of the questions I've gotten before from new anglers, it's fine if you're a new angler, we all started somewhere, is, well, how do you get it all the way over there? You do it just the same exact way as you would for using a lure or a jig or whatever. So you just run your loop through like that. My circle hook is doing its job over here on my shirt. And you just feed the hook through. And you pull your swivel through. And make sure it's laying flat. Wet your knot a little bit. Tighten up. Trim your tag. This is my understanding of what a fish finder rig looks like. So we have our hook, our swivel, our bead to protect our line from our weight. And this thing flops around in the current and gets the fish's attention while remaining a pretty natural presentation, a lot like I said, this could be a Carolina rig. We could just replace this with any sort of a line through weight, like a barrel weight or a bullet weight, and you would have a Carolina rig here. So this rig is very popular and it works really well. The reason I don't like it is you have 1, 2, 3 knots and you have a break off point here. If you hook a big fish, it can use this weight, fling it against the line, and over time that'll weaken your line if it's in the same place during a long fight, for example. If it's buttoned up against there, it's dinging your line every time it does that. So in my mind, that makes a weak spot right here.